Hey, what's going on, Whiskey Network? WBSE brings you another review from the co-founders of Whiskey Network and WBSE, Bill Varnell and Chad Cadden. Today, we are going to be sampling Thomas S. Moore's new lineup from Barton. It's a finished product in various different casks. Bill?
All right, so I'll give you a little background on this. Just got released in December, so it should be in the stores by now. And this is from the Barton 1792 distillery. It's the range of Thomas S. Moore whiskeys is brand new for the Barton distillery. Obviously, they produce 1792. But this is a brand new line that they've come out with. It's a port finish, a Chardonnay finish, and a Cabernet Sauvignon finish. And we're going to start off with the port finish, but I'm going to give you a little bit of history. In 1889, Thomas S. Moore built the distillery today known as the Barton 1792 distillery. His business boomed until the 18th Amendment forced the distillery to cease production in 1920. Of course, they've revitalized and they're back in the saddle again. And this bourbon is a non-aged stated bourbon, but it has been finished an additional 1 to 3 years in extended casks, such as the port, the Cabernet Sauvignon, and the Chardonnay. So with that, Chad, let's get into this. I'm going to give you what the distillery says about this.
We've had this sitting in this glass for about 10 minutes, give or take, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. The port cask, they're saying they're not giving us a nose. They're just giving us the profile that's soft and sweet with subtle hints of vanilla and baking spices. Now this one comes in at 98.9 proof. So let's see what we get.
It's very soft. You do get that sweetness from the port wine or port barrel.
Yes.
Almost like a little raisin, little honey.
So yeah, and I get the baking spices too on the nose.
Slight on it. Mm-hmm. It's a little, I don't want to say astringent, but it has that mild burn that you get from the alcohol.
Mm-hmm. No. It's a little oakier than I expected.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Definitely get that woodiness that you get the you do get the port on the finish, obviously. You do get it is a nice balance between the bourbon and the wine finish.
Mm-hmm.
I do like it.
It's got a little more heat than I expected at
I was kind of
proof.
Just thinking that.
It sort of gets you right back here. And for me, the very first blast of flavor on the palate is the oak. And then I get the vanilla and some baking spices, and the port is very subtle in it.
Yeah, it's not overpowering,
no.
which is great because myself, I'm not the biggest finished barrel fan. I think it works wonders in Scotch and bourbon. It's kind of hit or miss for me, and they did a pretty good job, but they didn't overdo it. But,
right. It's very subtle. It's just a hint of dark fruit on the end of that.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that plum and raisin in there, which of course is associated with the port.
Yeah, this is very tasty.
Yeah, quite dig it.
Yeah, I like it as well. A little bit about the bottle. Hopefully it was at the beginning of our review here. It's a tall, sophisticated bottle. It features an image that pays homage to the legacy of Thomas S. Moore. Each label has an image of the racehorse standing tall, honoring one of Moore's earliest whiskey brands, the Belle of Nelson, and it's named for the thoroughbred who won the Kentucky Oaks in 1878. So a lot of history there. So let's rinse these glasses out, and we'll go with the next one.
All right, so the next one we'll do, Bill, That one, or
And that's the Cabernet Sauvignon. Okay, we'll
or
do
you want to
that.
do that, or the
Sure,
Chardonnay?
sure. We're gonna do them all. So, cleanse my palate. Go ahead and crack it.
All right, let's crack it.
Suggested retail for all three of these bottles is $69.99. So it's within a approachable range. Not like it's going for 100 plus or what have you.
So this is the Cabernet.
Yeah, this is much lighter on the nose. And this one they
Very
describe,
buttery on the nose.
yeah, they describe as notes of dark fruit, caramel, and vanilla. And this one comes in at 95.3. It is buttery.
Yeah, like almost like a butter toffee, so to speak. Cheers, Bill.
Cheers. Cheers, Whiskey Network.
That's very good.
That is very good.
Now, I'm not much of a wine person, so the Cabernets, they're a red wine, or am I total? Okay, that's what I thought. I really don't get a lot of that finish profile in here, but it's something really, really dynamic in this.
The wine finish comes up front, and it is a rich, kind of buttery, the same as the nose on it. It's got a buttery first palate.
I'd be really curious to find out the age range of the beginning barrels, because both of these have a nice oak presence.
I get the caramel. Not finding dark fruit in it. Vanilla and a little oakiness.
I do get a little of that spice, that kind of allspice, that buildup you get. Also, that's one of my favorite things about good whiskeys is that.
Yeah, and I know that you aren't a big fan of finished whiskeys, but this one, all of these so far,
both of them, this is really good.
It complements the whiskey as opposed to overpowers the whiskey, as some finished bourbons do.
That's what I've been noticing. Like I say, the first one, you can really get the port on the nose, and even in the finish. This one, you do get that something going on behind it, and in front of it, sort of. Both of them are very nice. I'm definitely digging them. Maybe I'm a pork guy. The legs are really nice in this too. I mean, they just kind of they go
dance down the side of the glass. I like this. That's quite tasty.
I'm not hating. I'll tell you that. So we got the port finish, which was to me very exceptional in this Cabernet Sauvignon. I like Sauvignon, but both of them are very unique to each other. I'm kind of really, because I've had Chardonnays before, so I'm really curious now on what the Chardonnay finish will be.
Go ahead and pour. Yeah.
Now, this is by far the most delicate nose, the lightest.
So the Chardonnay says notes of citrus, tropical fruit, and buttery oak. And this one comes in at 97.9 proof.
You do get that little citrus on the nose, so I'm sure it'll very much follow up in the palate.
Yeah. I do get some of the oak on the nose. You can see in the palate, I'm not getting the tropical fruit.
I could see a tropical fruit flavor
Yeah.
profile.
No, I'm getting it. All three of them have a nice oily mouthfeel, which is something that I look for personally in a good bourbon.
This has a dryness towards the end
Mm-hmm.
and a nice little buildup of heat. Has a thinness to it for me though. Something about it's slightly thin for me.
I don't get that.
Now the Chardonnay does really shine on deep in the finish. You can really, really get that Chardonnay taste to it.
Yeah, the Chardonnay pops a little more in this one than the wines do in the other two.
But not, once again, not overpowering.
Very nice job. Yeah, these come highly recommended by me.
So I'm going to put them in order on how I perceive them. The port finish really struck a chord with me, is extremely good. The other two are 1, 2, 3 for me. There's not a bad whiskey there.
No,
there really isn't. I think it's something unique about each one. Something about this finish I really like. This one was just so well rounded. I'm sorry.
that's the Chardonnay.
The Chardonnay had a great finish. Something about it that just really intrigues me. The Cabernet is extremely well rounded. This was just a flavor bomb. The port was there from the nose to the finish, but it wasn't overpowering and let the bourbon shine. So I'll tell you what, I recommend all three of these. I recommend you all get them.
And as you know, everybody has different palates. So this is my line.
Okay.
I love port in Scotch, and I love it in this, but this Cabernet Sauvignon was the best for me. Port comes in second, and then the Chardonnay comes in third.
And I wouldn't turn a pour of any of these down.
No, these are excellent whiskeys. As far as Barton expanding their portfolio out to finished whiskeys with the Thomas S. Moore brand, they've done a fantastic job.
I like the history behind the Thomas Moore, being the original guy who owned the Barton Distillery. Well, what's there now, Barton Distillery. And he was such an innovator in building what bourbon is today and making Bardstown what the bourbon capital of the world. So good job. Go out, get these bottles, enjoy them. Cheers, Bill.
Cheers, Chad.
Cheers, WBSE.
Cheers, WBSE and Whiskey Network.
All right. Definitely good. Definitely. All three of them are really good.
Nice
Which
job.